Let's see, I'll start off with some comfort food, Denise's mom's meatloaf. Well, I'm here at the Red Pheasant Inn, located on 6A in Dennis, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, and I have the privilege of having at my table, a reserved table that is, Denise Atwood, Chef Bill. How are you? Both of you. I mean, are you ready for the big season?
We're great, yeah.
This is going to be probably one of the better seasons, I think. People are just about bored enough to say to themselves, I'm coming to Cape Cod, I'm going to have a delicious dinner, I'm going to remember it well, and this couldn't be a better place for it.
That's right.
The restaurant's been around for a long time, hasn't it, Bill?
In this incarnation, yes.
In this incarnation. Yeah. How long is it? How long is the restaurant?
35 years now.
35 years.
35 years. Yep.
Yeah, and Denise, this hasn't always been a restaurant.
No, over 100 years ago, it was a barn on Corporation Beach when it was Nabscusset Harbor, and it was a ship's chandlery. It was used to build boats.
Uh-huh.
And it was moved here as a carriage house for Scargo Manor when Scargo Manor was built next door.
Uh-huh. And this is actually, yeah, these are the beams.
Yeah, these are the old beams.
Oh, my.
It's pretty amazing. And the wide board floors, they take a lot of TLC in the wintertime.
You know, the restaurant has always been a favorite of the local people as well as the people who just by word of mouth tell people, hey, come to the Red Pheasant Inn.
Well, we've been around a long
for
time.
35 years.
You hear stories from people all over the country.
How many guest books do you have?
Oh my gosh.
Reservation books, guest books.
We have lots of those.
35 years, man.
Boxes.
Yeah.
Pictures of functions and parties.
But there's got to be something that draws them here. I mean, I know it's the food. I mean, you're superb. You've always... And that's one thing about this particular restaurant. It's chef-owned. A restaurateur like Denise is always there to meet and greet you. Have you... I mean, you've kept your style pretty much up to par as far as your dining, changing with the trends.
Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of people have mentioned on here on 6A to me that, you know, buying local is very important. Are you
Buy fresh, buy local.
Yeah. And this seems to be what it's all about here at the Red Pheasant.
Well, you know, now we're getting into genetic modifications on
Unbelievable.
food, salmon, and, you know, is the FDA going to do the right thing? And we don't know, we don't have the answers to those questions. So we try to know where our sources come from all the time. It costs a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's really the only way to go.
You can taste the difference, too.
You can.
You can taste the difference.
Yeah.
What seems to be the favorites here? I mean, I'm looking at a menu that's, you know,
the Salmonier
quite a variety.
Is definitely one of the top favorites. The rack of lamb and the roast duck. I don't think anyone can top those presentations.
Yeah, I've been told every time that I go to a restaurant and I ask for escargot, I have a duck, and I have to have, you know, an onion soup.
Look at that escargot.
We sell a lot of escargot.
That's what I had the other night.
I know. It was funny you walked in.
Yeah.
It was a great story.
And of course, you have game nights too. You have game specials.
Yes, we've been running with venison pretty much for close to 6 months now. If people say, "Well, can you do pheasant?" I can do pheasant, but I'm not into having $45 entrees. You know, so people request it, I will cook it, and I'll tell them up front how much it's gonna cost. But you know, with today's economy, I'm very sensitive to that. So 40, people wanted pheasant. They don't realize the time that it takes, you know, pulling the tendons out and the whole thing. And then it was $14 before we could even put it on a plate.
And well, it is something that people should realize that in the 35 years that you've been in business too, and other restaurants that have changed their menu every so often, keeping up with the food prices is very difficult too. I mean, it's not just only here at the Red Pheasant. It just seems like for the industry, you can't change this menu every week when prices go up.
No.
No, impossible.
We did that last year with rack of lamb. Rack of lamb would have been a $48 entree. After the flooding in Australia, the earthquakes in New Zealand put a lot of demand on the domestic product. Prices went through the roof, so we shifted gears a little bit and went to T-bone loin chops. People wanted the rack.
Yeah.
But
It's a signature dish.
It's a
When it
signature-
came back, everybody
you know, one
was
thing about
happy.
signature dishes, of course, here especially, I mean, once you've come to the Red Pheasant Inn, you'll find a particular dish that you'll always look for every time you come here, because it's probably going to be on the tip of your tongue for a long time to come.
And that is
It'll
the
be
soul
memorable.
meniere.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. We're going to talk more about the building and outside, the gardens. We're going to get a little bit more of the history of this building, because it is rather unique. It's probably one of the older buildings here on Route 6A in, well, on Cape Cod. And it's been kept up, very tastefully done by both the Atwoods and, of course, their staff. And we're going to talk more about their hospitality and their service. I'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 tastes. Well, thank you very much for joining me back here on the, well, Old Kings Highway showcase, and we are here today in Dennis, Massachusetts at the Red Pheasant Inn. And it's been called the Red Pheasant Inn for many years, 35 years to be exact. Huh?
That's correct.
And another 35 years, let's go.
I don't know about that.
Denise, you know, and the upkeep too, much, the outer grounds, the
Well, we had
herb
our
garden.
daughter's wedding last summer, so we had a lot of work done because everything had to be perfect.
Oh,
And,
sure.
you know, all the flowers and the gardens, and so it's going to be a little easier this year. It's ready
and
to
you
go.
know, it gives that cottage effect. I mean, you know, you drive by this place and it looks all American.
it doesn't look like a restaurant.
It doesn't
No,
look.
it looks like a home, and it is our home as well.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people probably come by. Is there any rooms available tonight? Have you
People
had
do that. We send
Yeah.
them next door.
Yeah, they have a lovely inn over here. The Scargo. What is this?
Scargo Manor.
Scargo Manor. Rather a stately building, huh? Yeah, to be next to a nice little place that's been around a long time. You know, Bill, Chef Bill, we go back a long time, 35 years or more actually. But you know, when your dad first started the restaurant, there must have been a reason for him to select Dennis, Massachusetts. Look at a building and have the vision. Was there, you know, any insight to what was going to go?
Well, he was looking for a home, and he drove down Pheasant Lane and said that would be a good name for a restaurant.
Pheasant Lane? Oh, the Pheasant.
Pheasant.
Pheasant,
Oh,
So,
yes. The
and at the
building is
time,
red.
at the time, it was very fashionable to call a restaurant an inn.
Your dad was always sociable, outspoken, but sociable. But, you know, again, that was the pleasantness of the place. It was like having, you know, and I hate to say a buddy, but some people just became very good friends with, you know, Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Sr. And that was so important, I think.
It's still
yeah.
that way. We have so many customers that have been coming for so many years. We have grandchildren of customers that come.
Wow.
Yes.
I know, it's pretty special.
Three
And you
generations
guys
of
look
people.
so young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a facade.
Facade. And staying true to your word, you do have your herb garden. I mean, you every day everything is made from scratch. You have a pastry chef, which I'm going to find out more about when I taste
We'll
it.
let you taste that later.
I have my special fork. I don't even have to move the plate.
You're a moocher.
Are you pastry chef? Diligently.
Ann Mason, she's great.
Yeah. And I think that's important because that's one of the last things you remember about a restaurant, other than the cup of coffee. But you just remember that, I had a scrumptious dessert, and that's going to stay with me all night. And kind of remember that because, you know, you look forward to the end of your meal.
Right.
Speaking of the end of the meal, you have specials or you have any kind of prefix that people would be
Yes, we're doing a
interested in?
chef's tasting menu, which we do all winter long. And it's 3 courses for $29.
Oh, my.
And we do a lot of specials in the wintertime. And then we
Yeah.
have a great website, and every day all the specials for the evening are updated,
Yeah.
so you can see exactly what's on the menu that night.
Yeah, you know, I was on the website, and of course you have specialities on the website, a lot of information about the restaurant and pictures and photographs of the food. By the way, you can get onto their website. It happens to be
redpheasantinn.com.
Okay, right here in front of the screen. And you do take special parties if somebody is thinking about having
Oh yeah,
an event
yeah.
kind of a party?
We can seat 35 people out in our garden room, which is really nice, and
Yeah.
about 50 in the main dining room. And then we have the little bar area, which it's just a small bar, but it's
Yeah.
a great place to pop in. And then people request that area for a small group.
How long has the garden room been there?
The garden room's been here for 35 years as well.
35 years?
Yes, it was added probably in the 50s. We don't know exactly, but last year we completely replaced the floor because it was tipping in one direction, and that was a big project. It's perfect now.
Yeah. We're all standing, by the way, we're on our sides right now. It's okay.
No, our floors are a little crooked, but that's all the charm.
But that's the charm.
Yeah.
That's the charm.
But, you know, it's completely wheelchair accessible. There are no stairs.
Yeah.
So that's nice, too.
And if anyone would like a garden party and to, you know, have it outside, not outside, but just
Kind of hard to be outside.
Well, I mean, in the garden room.
You can, in the garden room, definitely. It's perfect in the garden room. It's a whole wall of glasses. It's perfect.
And you'll put a menu together for them?
Oh, a menu, anything they like.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, one of the reasons a lot of people do come to the restaurant, not only just for the food, the wine list is so varied, but uniquely picked. I mean, you must spend a lot of time with the wine purveyors.
It's a tough job, John.
Somebody has to do it. Yeah, well, you know, tasting different wines.
We focus on California and France.
Uh-huh.
We aren't too big in Italian,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of older bottles that go back.
That are ready to drink.
Yeah, and you do mention on your website that, you know, your French style cuisine, but you kind of vary from that.
A little Mediterranean, a little Italian. When the squid come in, squid come in, which should be soon, we'll be doing squid ink risotto with calamari and but sautéed, and maybe some shrimp, and it'll be a pretty dramatic plate. But you know, we'll change up our fish as they come in and out of season. Swordfish right now, you know, summertime striped bass.
Oh, sure.
Right when striped bass season's done, then we're looking at, you know, hooked swordfish. So it's...
Well, I know that the fishermen and day boats that I make it a point to be here at the Red Pheasant once they come off the shores of Chatham. I am sure that they say if Chef Bill wants it, it's got to be good. You know, and you're the testee.
Well, it is
Tester.
about relationships.
Yeah,
you know,
and you have developed 35 years. Yeah, I'm sure your purveyors respect you very well too, because that's very important to the industry to have a chef that understands food, a restaurateur that understands the hospitality end of it, and regardless if it's summer, fall, winter, spring, you guys are open year-round and delicious desserts. This is summer in the making, huh?
That is.
Yeah.
Makes you think of summer, which is what we're ready for.
Your pastry chef is on call, or I mean, not on call.
No, she comes in at 6 o'clock every morning.
6 o'clock in the morning.
in the morning, yeah.
And she's gone by noon. She likes to work when it's quiet.
And different creme brulee. You have different kinds.
Creme brulee will change. Right now we're doing vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean.
Wonderful tiramisu.
Tiramisu.
Flourless chocolate cake.
Yeah. So when you have dinner here, which of course is all you serve, dinner only, right?
Yes, that's correct.
You must have a dessert.
Oh, definitely, even if you share one.
Chef Bill, you know, I told myself when I talked to you earlier about how great, well, how wonderful I think of the restaurant. I've always recommended the restaurant. I have here in front of me a certificate, which I'd like to give you, a recognition, and it says, the Red Pheasant Inn, Dennis, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, for the dedication in presenting the highest quality cuisine and consistency of proper service, and for the integrity and high standards of the hospitality industry. And I think it suits you both and your staff.
Thank you, John. That's
Thanks,
quite an
John.
honor.
And we would like to mention that the staff here, they almost have a tenure.
Oh, they do.
How many years?
Oh, there's several people that have been here at least 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about the Red Pheasant. You got to come here and be
remembered.
And remembered.
That's right.
We're going to take a little tour of the Red Pheasant Inn. Do you mind? We'll go take the camera around and
Don't mind at all.
and show
Great.
people who possibly are in Boston, Providence, or just here on Cape Cod. And if you live on Cape Cod and you haven't been down 6A, and I'm telling you this only because I live almost 15, 16 miles from 6A, and I have to make it sometimes a nice Sunday drive. And what better way to halfway through have dinner at the Red Pheasant Inn? And there'll always be a table reserved for you too.
That's right.
You can always call. What is the phone number here?
508-385-2133.
All right,
And you
right-
can make
right in front of the
reservations
dessert.
online too.
Yeah. Oh, you can?
Yes,
Okay.
it's really easy.
And it's the redpheasantinn.com.
That's right.
Chef Atwood, fantastic that you always have been. I am sure you have many other chefs that have come to the restaurant and enjoyed your fare, your smile, and your dedication to the industry. Thank you again.
Thank you, John.
And for inviting us.
Thank you,
Denise,
John. It's always good to see you.
For that smile, that smile always, I mean, she could be weight on the shoulders, and that smile will come through. Thank you again for joining me here on Route 6A in Dennis, Massachusetts, Cape Cod. We're taking you along Old Kings Highway. And here at the Red Pheasant Inn, there'll always be a table reserved for you.